So I wanted to begin by asking you about, the dynamic between Merlin and Arthur is so different in the series because of the age change, and it's different than we've seen in other incarnations of stories. So how does that change the relationship between the two?
You're meeting two characters at a point in their life where they've both got big things happening. Arthur's on the brink of coming to the throne. He's the prince, and he knows that that's inevitable. Merlin's got big things going on because he's got the one thing he's really good at, magic, being the one thing that he can be killed for. So they've both got huge dilemmas in their life, really. How's he going to rule the throne? How's Merlin going to make sure he does get to the throne? Their destinies are both going towards the same thing, but in very different ways. And making them the same age, they've almost got that that natural energy and that natural enthusiasm that people have, because you expect a big future for yourself. You always do. Young people always have, and that's the major difference. They believe in the future, but how it's going to pan out is a mystery.
And they're more peers in this one than sort of the older mentor and the younger.
Yeah, well, that's it. You've got Arthur, who's able to turn to his father as the king, and you've got Merlin able to turn to Gaius as his advisor. And there's always that seeking out of wanting advice, and it's happened throughout the ages. It has, we're obviously in a medieval setting. It's happening to this day that people will always turn to their elders for advice. But what's interesting is we've seen these characters of Merlin and Arthur as an audience, as elders, and it's an origin story. You're seeing them then in that point in their lives where they didn't know where they were going to go or what they were going to do or how the future was going to be. So that's one of the great things that works about the show.
And another character with a big destiny history in this mythology is Morgana. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship on the show, the characters, and where that's starting to go as the series progresses?
Okay. Well, at the end of series 2, things weren't great between Merlin and Morgana because he killed her, and or so he thought. So when we go into the third series, which is actually set a year in the future, big changes have happened, and Morgana has been somewhere in a dark place where she's learnt interesting things, which she's about to divulge, and it's an interesting point for Merlin and Morgana to meet, because he poisoned her. He thought she was dead, and she's come back. Does she remember? What's her feelings about that? She can't feel good about it, surely. But does she remember even? And what are the implications of her knowing? And those are all questions that are answered when we go into the third series.
I know you're partway through shooting the third series. What else can you kind of give us some hints about where the characters are going, and others sort of little, maybe Easter eggs of the mythology that we're going to see along the way?
Okay. Well, as I said, one of the big things is it is set a year in the future, so that's great, because you immediately start in with a changed Camelot. You're seeing a more paranoid, more painful place, I think, and that's due to a more paranoid and painful king, and that's one of the big changes. You're also seeing Merlin as more of an advisor to Arthur, not just the power of his magic anymore, but the power of his words, and how that is a tool as well. You're seeing important parts of the legend, of the Arthurian legend as well, being picked out. There's things that we've visited before with the Lady in the Lake and the Excalibur and Lancelot, and of course the inevitable love story between Arthur and Guinevere. They're all revisited, and there's also some new aspects of that we haven't visited before from Arthurian legend, including the Crystal Cave. So loads coming up.